Sup, Battle Pups? How you going?
Hey, we're doing good. Thanks. Waiting for a few of my team members to join. So once they do, I'll have them go ahead and request listening, and then you can bring them on if you want.
Yeah, sounds good. Sounds good. Good to have you here, man. Frank did speak highly of you.
Oh, man, that's great. And I'll tell you, we're really excited and honored to be on the show today, especially being your first Shark Tank. This is a great forum, and we're excited to be featured.
Yeah. Let me put that music down a little. But yeah, it's our first one, and thanks so much for coming on and being that guinea pig or beta tester. Like, admittedly, we pushed this out in just a couple of days. A bit of lead time to get more organized would always be nice. But props to everyone involved. Actually, they were just so happy to come on in short notice. But we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, Frank called me up the other day and he said, "Hey, I want you to join this." And I thought, "Oh, wow, it'd be great." I mean, it'd be so much fun. And I said, "Yeah, I'd love for you guys to throw darts at us and pick holes in our project, and let's see how this goes."
I know. It's cool. Hey, Neanderthal, good to see you here. Good to see familiar faces. And look, it's. I really hope that this will be a good thing going forward. Reason for doing this is Savannah wants to be that platform where communities can gather and hopefully find some growth and flourish on. And what we hope to do as well is work with projects like yourself from the very get go and from the start, and just getting to know your team, that we can point you in the right directions, find good judges that hopefully can be good advisors or hookups. And in the future, as soon as you launch, hopefully we can get you guys onto Savannah for a massive launch party.
Yeah, this is epic. We're extremely excited to join you and be a part of the first one. And then also, I see Todd is on my team. Oh, did he just disappear? I think he just disappeared. Let's see, he'll join back in a minute. And then I also see Piero. We call him Peebo, so he's also on the team, so you can bring him up.
I don't see Todd at the moment, but I've just invited Piero to come up to speak.
Yeah, I think Todd will be joining again. He probably just jumped off. He'll be right back.
Okay. What's up, Saigo? That's our head of partnerships, by the way, Saigo. So I imagine if he likes what he hears today, he'll be hitting you up after this to see how Savannah can work with you.
Yeah, that's excellent.
All right. Just waiting for
Let's
the
see.
other few. Both Frank said they're going to be on. We've got double Frank today. We've got Frank from Solana Storm and Frank from D Gods as well coming on.
Yo, what's up? I don't know if that was a hey, you should come up here, Saigo. So I just figured
No, it's
I was
uh,
so here
yeah.
I
You
am.
don't have to speak, but there you go.
Here
Good to
I
hear your
am.
voice, man.
Yeah.
All right, welcome Moon Roving. He is one of our judges today, and I've invited you to co-host. Man, good morning or good evening where you're from.
What's up, guys? How are you?
Hey, good,
Excited
good.
for
So
today.
good to have you on.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, actually, thanks for everyone for coming today as well. Admittedly, we did push this out on really short notice. Me, Frank, and Moon Roving, we actually discussed this in a matter of minutes, and we just decided, all right, we're gonna wing it this week and bring it on. But thanks so much as well for agreeing to do this. Really appreciate it.
Yeah. I mean, pushing these out short notice, that's the way to go in crypto, right? You just gotta you just gotta go. I feel like Frank over in the D Gods crew, that's the ethos there. It's just like build, see what happens. And so that's kind of where we're at. I feel like in crypto, and that's the projects that are being successful is just going for it.
I completely agree. And Saigo, I think I think you're kind of used to how me and Doug work at the moment, where we just push things out really fast. And things might not be smooth immediately, but we'll do our best to smoothen things out as we go along.
For sure. Yeah. I see. Did you invite Becca up? I see Becca in the audience now.
Yeah, yeah. I don't think she will be speaking this time, but if she wants to
Oh, okay.
speak, we'll let her speak.
Okay. No worries.
Yeah. Also, shout out to Becca. Thanks for getting projects on short notice, and thanks for reaching out to the other Frank as well. All right. I guess we are waiting for Frank from DGods. Solstice told me he might be driving at this time, but he will come on as well and chime in as a judge much later. And welcome, Amoeba friends. How are you doing today?
Doing amazing. How you guys doing?
Hey, very, very good. Thanks. Very good.
Hey, and I just wanted to say this is Frank from Solana Storm. I didn't know which account to go through, so I just went through the Solana Storm account.
Hey, Frank. Nice to see you. Also, if you notice, it's me. That's Kim. She's on my team. So if you want to bring her up too.
Oh, got it. Yep. I've invited her. That's cool. So for those in the audiences, what's going to happen today is after this Shark Tank episode, I know Battle Pops is willing to offer some private whitelists for some of our listeners. Magnum AI as well, I believe they're going to do it, and Amoeba as well, I think. So feel free to hit their team up after this. And Frank from DGods, I'm going to invite you to speak. Let's see. All right. Good to see you here, Frank.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, good to have you. Thanks so much for coming on. It is truly an honor, sir. There is two Franks here, so I guess I'll refer to you as Frank, and I'll refer to Solana Storm's Frank as Solana Storm.
Perfect.
All right, so this is our first ever run of Shark Tank on Savannah. I think it's going to be cool. It really comes back to Savannah's ethos of supporting projects, and we hope to work with early stage projects in helping them not only find their target audience, but finding them good quality minters, good quality investors, and hopefully set them up for success in the long run. This program is actually brought to you by Solana Storm, Moon Roving, and Nestor Alpha as well. So thanks everyone for coming, and here's a rundown of what we're going to do during this Twitter Spaces. So each project will be given 15 minutes airtime. You'll be able to introduce yourself and your project in 5 minutes. Judges will be asking questions and sort of doing the good cop, bad cop routine after you speak. And we hope that you answer thoughtfully, and we hope that judges are able to be themselves as well. Just because you're on air doesn't mean that you don't have to be yourself. And at the end of the airtime, the interesting thing that we'll be asking judges is, will you be minting personally? Or will you be adding this project to your watch list or passing on the opportunity? And we want to find out why as well. Now, don't take anything as criticism. Like, I think we're all in this space together, and every single judge here is in it for the long run, and we're here to build and really help projects succeed in the long run. And after the show as well, like, we're happy to talk and find ways where we can all work together and collaborate in the future. Now, this week has been a little bit disorganized, and I apologize on my part. Now, in the future, these Shark Tank episodes will actually take place on the Savannah platform itself, and we'll be hosting it at different locations. Starting next week, we'll do it outside the DGods building. And eventually, when the Solana Storm building comes, we'll be doing it there as well. But thanks, everyone. And shall we get the three judges that are present here today to briefly introduce themselves? Let's start with Moonroving.
Yeah, sure. So I'm Moonroving. I've been hosting spaces on Solana NFTs since like late October, I would say, doing several a week. And now I've got two shows that I kind of core host, which is the Morning Mint Show, a couple days a week in the morning, Central Time, US, and then the Lit Late Show, which is a 9 p.m. Central show. I'll do a couple times a week as well, and then have a couple other just shows that we put together from time to time. And this is another one. So grateful to be here. And I'm just like you, looking to kind of dig into these projects, hear from them, see what they're building, what the sizzle is, but also where their heart is. And so I do this, a number of times a week. So I've got a pretty good ear when I hear from projects as to, is this a good opportunity? Is it not? And this is probably going to be more of us pushing back than I normally do on the shows. Although I feel like I do push back a good amount on the shows that I host on an ongoing basis. But for Shark Tank, we obviously want everyone that comes on this moving forward to succeed. And so even though we may ask some more difficult questions, it's not that we're trying to give you a hard time or be fans of you, but it's we can iron sharpens iron, right? So we can help you strengthen your story. If it doesn't sound like it kind of comes well together today, hopefully from the conversation and then maybe the follow-up backdoor discussions or just DMs, I should say, that may happen after this. It will be a way for you to grow as a project. And this goes for this show and then, the subsequent shows that Savannah hosts in the weeks ahead. So grateful to be here. Thanks for having me, and let's have some fun.
Thank you very much. And your show is rock, by the way, Moonroving. Like, I remember not too long ago, me and Solana Storm were actually sort of being asked the hard questions during your show. And let's hear from Frank from DGods.
Hey everyone, my name is Frank. Is it working, by the way? Okay, yeah. My name is Frank. I started this project called DGods. We're on Solana. Today, I'm going to be more of the Simon Cowell of the judging. So I'll either be saying, "Oh, that's bloody brilliant," or "It's horrible," whichever one. And yeah, I'm going to try to be a little bit more critical today because I think there's some high quality projects, and I'm excited to hear the mints and give any feedback that I can.
All right, awesome. So
Frank, that's the wrong show, man. I don't think he was on Shark Tank.
yeah, people get it. It's a heuristic. People understand. I Kevin O'Leary. Sometimes
I'll be
Mark,
Mark
that
Cuban
kind of thing.
today. I'll be Mark Cuban since I'm
yeah,
in
you're
Dallas.
Mark. I'm like Barbara. I'll be like Barbara today. I'm hyped. She doesn't get
Nice.
enough love, to be honest. Yeah.
Oh man, this is awesome to hear. Oh my gosh. Let's hear from Solana Storm as well. What dynamic will you bring to the judges panel?
Hey guys, this is Frank as well. So I spun up Solana Storm to be all-inclusive launchpad to offer a ton of services outside of launching projects. So I'm going to be here. Thank you to Savannah for having us and featuring us as well. But I plan on asking some tough questions because I want to give as much critical feedback as I can because I think it's going to help projects in the long run, especially executing their roadmap. I just want to make sure that we can really get into the details of their projects to understand how they can really be beneficial to Solana and to us, but also to themselves. So I plan on taking like kind of an interesting route to target some areas of the project where others lack. So I really just want to be a benefit to them to hopefully make sure that they can have a clear-cut roadmap to be able to execute their project.
I love it. I love it. And I think just getting to know Frank for this period of time, I really believe in his mission and vision. And I think Solana Storm will be a really good contender in the space for a long time to come. Now, let's open it up. Our first project today is actually Battle Parps. And let's get you up and introduce yourself. You've got 5 minutes to do that.
Hey, thanks, guys. Appreciate it. It's great that some of the sharpest minds in this space have come together to put this Shark Tank together. So we're real honored to be here, and thanks for choosing us to be featured on your first episode. So I'm Brian from Battle Pups. I'm the founder, one of the founders, and on with us is Kim. It's me, if you see her down there. She's one of the founders, as well as Todd. He is Wolflet 410, and Pierrot, which we call him Peebo. He's our community manager. So that's our team, not all of our team, but the team featured today. So they'll be answering various questions as we kind of go through the Shark Tank episode. I'll kind of start with our elevator pitch, if that's okay. Battle Pups is a multi-collection, and that's kind of important, multi-collection project focusing on utility-driven NFTs. Utility is big. This is what we're really trying to gain and accomplish within our project, is lots of important utility. We'll cover a lot of that in the conversation. Ultimately, we're going to work towards an NFT-based metaverse game and an animated anime comic series. It starts with our 5,000 Genesis NFT characters. They're kind of the heroes of the Battle Pups universe. And then we're also going to release 2,500 companion characters as a secondary set. There will be some synergies that'll work with both of these characters as we move towards the metaverse game. There's a series of other NFTs that'll go along with the project as we mint the Genesis characters. Holders will also get and receive for free Battle Pass NFTs that will provide some utility. We'll talk about that in a little bit. They'll also receive Power Card NFTs that will play a role in the metaverse game. We'll also be releasing our Pups token, and so holders will receive calculated amounts of the Pups token. We'll get into some of that in a little bit as well. And the focus is to provide various utility in both the metaverse game and off game, including some staking rewards as we go. We've created an entire roadmap, which is featured on our website and available. And the roadmap has various milestones like any project does. And it's a long, sustainable roadmap. Our focus is to make sure that we've got sustainability with this project, as well as providing value. One of the unique elements of this project is an entertainment value. And something that I don't see quite often in NFT projects is the entertainment component. So certainly these are investments, but for the most part, and there's a lot of great art out there as well, which can be entertaining, but there's not a lot of entertainment utility bundled into the project. And so from our perspective, we really want to dive a little deeper into that. And we're creating this animated anime comic series that will go into a little bit more of a deeper dive into the lore of Battle Pups and the Battle Pups universe. It'll certainly provide backstory, the current story, and where these characters are going. And so, again, we're going to be releasing the Genesis characters, which is the Battle Pups themselves. The 2,500 companion characters are going to be anime human characters, and there's a symbiotic relationship between the human characters and the Battle Pups. And so we want to roll that out in this animated anime comic series to give more lore and entertainment to the whole project. And then, of course, that leads us into the metaverse game. And then when we get to the metaverse game, you're already immersed into a larger world and more lore, and it just brings more value to the whole experience as holders as well as just enthusiasts. So that's the project's elevator pitch. So Savannah, you want me to kind of move into maybe who we are as a team, or what's your next format?
Yeah. Maybe introduce your team and competency and where you've come from, and then we'll open it up to the judges to ask the questions.
Yeah, I'd love to do that. Thanks. Okay, great. So then the Battle Pups team consists of myself, Kim, who's on here, it's me, and this is the founders, and then Todd, he's Wolfet 410. We kind of came up with this project back in late December, so right around the holidays. It was a project that I kind of came up with. I'm a creator as well as an investor myself. I've been involved in the cryptocurrency space for many years, getting into the NFT space since last year. And so I've aped into a small handful of projects, really enjoyed it. Played on the Ethereum side, didn't like the gas fees like most of us. Found some great projects, but it was very expensive to with the gas fees and to transact. So I wanted to bring some value and a value proposition and a project to the Solana environment. I fell in love with Solana. It's easier barrier to entry, as we all know. The technology is great, scalable, it's much faster, and way cheaper for investors to get in. My experience as a founder, I am a career technical person, been in the tech industry for about 20 years. Currently, I am the CTO and CIO of a multi-million-dollar fintech firm. I've been there for about a decade now. Previous to that, I've owned a small handful of businesses myself in the tech space and in the entertainment space. And so I bring a lot of passion with business acumen to the table, as well as some creative side of the fence. I'm also a music producer, so that creative side of me wants to come out all the time. In addition to myself, we've got Todd on the team. Todd's also a tech professional for, better half of 15, 20 years as well. He is a developer at heart, but all things IT. Todd wears many hats, but he's also a professional executive. He's got some great skill sets all around. Kim on the team, she's been in the digital space for most of her career as well. She's a digital marketing expert as well as all things marketing. She knows a lot about cryptocurrency as well as the NFT space. She's kind of been aping in it with me over the last year and a half. And then we've got Peebo. Peebo's a community manager, probably one of the nicest guys you'll ever meet. If you get into our Discord, he'll be in there saying hi to you, and he's such a great dude. He's been involved in NFT projects before as community manager, so he's got a lot of experience in running and helping communities within Discord and all things social. So that's our team. We feel we do bring collectively a pretty solid team of skill sets, both professionally, creatively. We know how to execute against roadmaps. I'm no stranger to running IT projects, large ones, multi-million-dollar projects, and certainly I'm in this because of the love of the labor. I love the technology. I love the Web3 space. I love the Solana community. Look what you guys have put together today, just in just a couple of days. Some of the best minds in this space come together and threw this Shark Tank together, and we're doing it because and this is what I love. As I mentioned, I'm a collector as well, an investor as well as a creator here. So being able to get onto a forum and a platform like this to talk about my project, which helps other investors with more information about good projects. And so that's what I want to get out of it as an investor also. So as I continue to listen week to week to the show, I'm going to be listening to projects as an investor, and I want to learn more information. We all certainly do our own research, and we need to, but when we have forums like this where we can provide better information about projects, especially by people who are, I hate to use this word, but I'm going to, influencers in the space, but influencers with good hearts, not people trying to just shill projects for money. And all of you are influencers with good hearts. That's where the credibility comes in. And so I'm excited to be an investor and participate this week by week, but we're also excited to be a project to be in this forum with that kind of credibility.
All right, let's open it up to judges.
Hey, I just wanted to start off with kind of like a different question, but I see that you're going to be releasing 5,000 Genesis characters. Is that just an arbitrary value, or is there like a strategy behind that?
Yeah, great question. So the 5,000 Genesis characters are the initial Battle Pups. They're the hero of this whole Battle Pups universe. We're going to launch the 5,000 collection to be a part of the metaverse game, ultimately. We picked 5,000 so it wasn't too oversaturated. A lot of projects do 10,000 or some arbitrary number like 8,888. We felt 5,000 was a good amount to be the starting point, but we knew we were going to do a multi-collection project. So the Battle Pups being the Genesis characters, they hold the most weight. Then we've got the 2,500 companion characters coming afterwards. There is a synergy. I think I mentioned this. There is a synergistic connection between those two characters. So as holders, if you hold both, later on in the metaverse game, they provide synergistic value and unlock other abilities in the game. So I think that answers your question, Frank. We really didn't want to oversaturate the market with too many NFTs, and we felt 5,000 was the right number.
Yeah, no, thank you. I was just trying to see, because there's always that gray line, too many or too little. So I was just curious to see. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I can go next. Can you hear me? So I think your team is really impressive. I think a lot of what I heard was really impressive. But here's my hardest hitting question. What is going to happen right after the mint? Because I love to hear a team that has a long-term game plan. But as we know in this space, it's very, very difficult sometimes to maintain the hype pre-mint, post-mint. So I want to hear what's going to happen. Let's just say starting on day one for the 30 days right after mint.
Yeah, great question, Frank. Appreciate that. So our roadmap leads us into some community involvement. So as we mint and once we mint and investors have the battle pups, and of course, following that, we're going to be airdropping the utility NFTs that we mentioned. So there's going to be, of course, some time that will happen, short, small periods of time that maybe a week after and a week after that. So we've got the battle pass that we need to airdrop, and then we've got the battle cards that are part of this. I haven't even talked about that, but that plays a role in the game. And those are NFTs. They have utility as well. Those will be airdropped. The pups tokens will be airdropped as well. And then we're also behind the scenes as a team and as a community. We're going to be working on discussions around the animated comic series and even the game design and some of the game development. And what we want to be able to do is include community involvement and have discussions with community to bring in some opinions and bring in some expert design concepts. A lot of people in this space have been involved in other projects, so they can bring some value to the conversation. So we're going to host a lot of AMA design and development forums for our community to get involved for those next milestone phases in our roadmap.
So follow up there. What would you say? Okay, so let's just say mint happened. Everyone's asking the when X thing. What would you say the first really exciting thing that's going to happen after mint for everyone that's going to be like, holy fuck, can't believe this is happening. This is so different from everything else in the space. Like, what is that moment for you guys, and how long, is it going to take for you guys to make that?
Yeah, that's a great question. And so we haven't even put dates down yet because we're so early in the project. It's hard to pinpoint dates now, but we do have intentions to pinpoint dates once we get to various milestones or various triggers. So like any project, you have to have some prerequisites set before you can, lock down some other various components that are down the line in the roadmap. So we have place setters there, but we just don't have the dates. But what will, in my opinion, what I think will become the, hey, this is awesome, this is happening moment will be after we finish airdropping all the utility NFTs and we come out of the comic series design, which by the way, we'll be doing all of that development. In fact, we're doing some of the development now, even prior to the minting. But after that next milestone, that next wow factor is going to be that comic series, the animated comic series, once we release that. And that's going to bring in, it's a tangible element, right, to the project. It brings that tangible component, brings the entertainment value to the project. And then you see your characters come to life. Now, the interesting thing is some of these characters, some of the NFTs will actually be featured in the animated comic series. Now, we can't feature all 5,000, but we'll selectively or maybe randomly pick some to be in the comic series and be featured. So we feel like when we get to the stage of dropping that comic series, that's the wow moment. Because following that, we're going to do the mint for the next character set. Then we're going to go into discussion and finalizing details around the metaverse game. So it all kind of becomes real at the point we release that animated comic series.
Okay, awesome.
I think Frank hit on a
add
good point there that
something
you've
to
got
that?
obviously a very solid team. Sorry, go ahead.
I wanted to add something to the wow factor you guys were talking about.
Okay, sure.
I think the most important thing for a project right now, because if we see like every blockchain, if we see Ethereum, if we see Solana, there are thousands of projects coming out every day, right? So the thing that the wow factor that we have to keep in mind is the community-driven project. So keeping the community alive, the positivity alive, keeping people wanting to be talking and chatting on the Discord is gonna be the wow factor for us. Since we're gonna be 100% community-driven, the community will be up to date with everything we're doing as a team. So when it's a community-driven project, they feel like they're in the team. So that's why they want to keep talking, chat, keep bringing ideas to the table. They feel like they're the team, and that's what we wanted to do. We wanted to like make the people think and feel like they're part of the team. So that's what I think is the wow factor for us. That's what I think it will keep the hype before the mint and after the mint. The community.
Amen, people. Amen.
And that's it. Thank you.
Piro, I would say, hey, that sounds great, but I hear that from everybody. So no offense. I mean, every single project we speak to is going to be building an awesome community of people that will be involved in the build, and they'll be so energized. That's not always the case. Maybe it will be the case with you guys. I hope it is. But it's definitely a challenge to keep people involved and keep them psyched and a part of the build. You've seen projects that have been able to do that. You've seen that some that haven't, right? Even some of these projects that got 20, 30, 40,000 followers when they mint, they just die on the vine somehow. So that can be a challenge for sure. I've got a couple of questions for you guys. So Frank mentioned just how strong the team is. Kind of looking through, I wouldn't say the resumes, but at least the write-up on the website. Definitely have some high-quality people in here, which is definitely a standout. Talking with a lot of different projects, you don't always have the type of caliber of folks that you guys have. So my first question is tied in with that. Can you maybe add a little more color on the team and the experience around building out a metaverse, building out a game? Have you guys shipped games before? And then the second piece, have you had success in the comic world? I mean, that's a very competitive space as well.
Yeah, great questions. I'll start that one, then I'll let some of my team members speak to it as well. And real quick, you're nailing it, Moon Roving, about the community piece. I'll tell you what, though, there's a project I've really admired from the beginning that I've seen, and you guys are probably familiar. I don't know the team, but I followed the project, and this was the Dronies project. So you guys are probably familiar with Dronies. And I thought they did a fantastic job of creating community experience, and they still have a great community. In fact, I noticed that when Dronies started, they organically built their community, and they didn't even have a mint date. I mean, they didn't have a mint date for a long time. And I think from inception of the project to the point where they minted, it was about a 6-month window. And even close to mint, if you guys were following the project, they had to even alter the mint date and change some things, even change the price of the minting because Sol went down, and that was when the dip was happening pretty hard. So, but I really admired how they handled it, managed their community, and continued to manage their community, and they did a great job. So I'm inspired by successful projects like that, and we hope to learn from those kind of successful projects and kind of emulate some of the tactics that they use. So you never know. You're right. It's hard to build a community. This is why I love Peebo. He's got a great positive mindset. He's done NFT projects before, and so that's a challenge I think every project's going to need to figure out, but I feel like we're heading down the right path, and we're going to adjust as we need to and try to do our best at creating a really strong community. Now back to the team. So adding a little bit more color around how can we manage building out a game or building out software. In my experience over the last 20 years of being involved in Web 2 and now in Web 3, my core competencies, and I grew up in the space being a developer. So I understand what it means to do software development. I know and understand what it means to do software development on long-term projects, how to bring in the right resources, manage teams, execute against roadmaps and milestones, and and bring in the right resources to help you do that. In my opinion, because I've done lots of different software development over the years, whether it's a game or whether it's payment processing software or whether it's some kind of giant web application for SAP, it's all pretty much behind the scenes, and the life cycle process is the same. And so we bring that value to the project of being able to have professionals who understand that. And I'm not the only one on the team that has that experience. Todd certainly has that experience. Kim has that experience. And we have other, what I'd call advisors and people we talk to in our space, in our close-knit space, who are involved, at least from an advisory perspective, in the project. So we're bringing that resources to the table to help us make sure we can keep this project on track and deliver the things that we're promising to deliver.
I might add to that too, that a lot of the business stuff that we do actually is meant to specifically engage people. And so I think that helps a lot. I mean, gamification inside business apps has been around for about a decade in a way. And so we feel we're pretty well suited to be able to handle developing something like a game to keep people engaged and tell stories, because we do a lot of that in our day-to-day job. It's not just, creating another spreadsheet app. There's a lot more to it than that. And I think that experience gives us a lot of kind of a heads up on how to manage a project and get it through to completion, but at the same time still be creative enough to develop something worthwhile.
Yeah, that's a great point, Todd.
All right, thanks for the response on that. The other question, that's maybe a 2-point question, is, and this is more of like an open question, but like, what am I buying here? You know, I know there's a game, there's a comic, but you know, what am I? Am I buying the NFT? Like, what should I be excited about playing the game? Should I be more of a gamer? Should I be more of a comic guy? I'm neither, to be honest with you guys. I mean, I play games, I just don't have time to do that. But I'm more of an investor. I'm the guy that wants to buy these NFTs and see them appreciate over time, which would be the second part of the question. But you know, what am I buying? Is it the experience with the community? You know, what are you selling? There's a
I
lot
think
going on, which it sounds like you have a fantastic team and the website's awesome. A lot of moving parts. You know, at the end of the day, what am I buying?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think ultimately it's an NFT. You're buying an NFT project. The holistic project as a whole and all the utility that we can provide and the gamification component or the comic entertainment value, these are elements of a project. It just makes it stronger and hopefully, and this is what we're trying to accomplish, more valuable, right? And so as an investor, you're buying into the NFT, you're minting one of the 5,000 or however many, 5,000, we've got 5,000 Genesis characters plus the other characters. You're investing in the NFT. At the end of the day, we're hoping that floor price rises. We're hoping that the value of the NFT goes up. There's a lot of utility that we've sort of talked about. We've talked about all of it, but there's a lot of utility in there. So as an investor, you still have the ability to earn a lot more within the project. There's another project out there you guys are all familiar with, I'm pretty sure, Famous Fox Federation. I know, Frank, you're a big fan of that, and Frank from Solana Storm, and I'm inspired by those guys. They've built some great tools and some utility that allow investors to continue to gain and grow value in that project. And that's the same thing we want to do. We're adding little sprinkles of entertainment and gamification into it as well. But the end game is to make our NFTs valuable and make the project valuable for investors.
Is there a line for or a roadmap for royalties at some point in time? You know, like on the comic piece, like, am I just buying access to, you know, there are a number of comic NFTs now. And I'm not a huge comic guy, but those things can blow up. But if, you know, having an NFT that ties in with the comic, you know, if there's no royalties, it's just like you are buying an expensive comic, I guess, right? So, you know, how will that help the price of these NFTs appreciate?
Yeah, great question. And to be honest with you, the intention of the comic series was more to be a entertainment component, to build more lore and to give more backstory behind the characters. It's an interesting idea. We have kicked around. Yep, we've kicked around some concepts around how do you make that an investment. So there's a lot of discussion still in our project on how to bring more investment value to it. So we haven't figured out every little detail. We're still sharpening our pencil on a lot of this stuff. So I don't know that I have an honest answer right now. The honest answer is I don't know yet.
All right. Thanks very much, Battle Pups, and thanks to our judges as well for really asking poignant questions at the moment. So let's wrap it up and give room for Magnum AI as well as Amoeba to come up and speak after this. And judges, what is your call? Will you be minting personally, adding onto your watch list, or passing on this opportunity here?
Hey guys, I guess I'll go first here. I'm a huge investor in teams and high quality teams and high quality individuals, and I really want to show that I support people that are trying to build better for Solana. So I will definitely be minting Battle Pups because I do want to support more of these teams that are hard at work trying to really bring change to Solana and are not only have a track record, but really just invest in the high quality individuals in the space.
I can go next. This is a tough one for me because, like exactly what Solana Storm said, I love investing in teams. For me, I think this is going to be a watch list only because I want to understand better how this plays out after mint. And it seems like you guys are going to be working really hard, but with a lack of kind of clear details on that and differentiators. I do think that there's a very strong team backing this. So people that are listening, don't be discouraged. But for me, this is going to be a watch list. But awesome pitch. Love it.
And I'll start with just saying I'm out. I mean, I do love what you guys are doing. I love the team. I think it does come down to the leadership and the experience and, you know, doing a bunch of shows like I do, you're one of the better ones for sure. My questions around, with the gaming experience, I'm not a big gamer. With the comic thing, that doesn't really kind of feed into my interest. So I'm not quite sure, I don't want to spend time kind of playing a game, right? So my question on like driving, the increase in the value of the NFT. I mean, you didn't quite hit that. I think, you mentioned famous Fox Fed and building other tools, which I think makes a lot of sense. And I think you guys will be able to deliver on that. And so I will, maybe it's more of a watch list, but for now I'm out. But I think if anyone can deliver and add additional utility, it's you guys for sure. So that will probably be a point in time that I'll maybe buy on the secondary. But up front, it's just not. There's just it's not something that fully excites me at this point. But I think you guys have a bright future. I just want to kind of sit back and see how it goes. So thanks for coming up and thanks for answering all the hard hitting questions.
Thanks, Battle Pops. Thanks as well to our judges. So the whole point of this is to encourage good, healthy discussions about projects. And our judges here, they come from different backgrounds as well. So for the members of the audience listening to their reasoning as well, we encourage you to develop your own form and framework on how you look at these projects and evaluate them. And each of us actually have a different investment framework as well. Like Moonroving might not be interested in games, but Frank from Solana Storm here is betting on a different metric altogether. And Frank from DGods as well is more well-versed being a builder himself. So thank you very much, Battle Pops, for coming on, and thanks for our judges. And let's get Magnum AI up next, actually. Magnum AI, welcome to the show, and you've got 5 minutes to introduce yourself and your team and your project.
All right, thank you so much. How are we doing today, guys and girls? Hello. Can you guys hear me?
Yo, doing great, sir.
Happy to have you. Looking forward to it.
Thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate it. I just want to make sure the mic worked off the bat. This was a little bit impromptu. I had no clue I was going to be hopping on here for this, but that's all right. We don't need to prepare too much because I've been going through the process of getting this project up and running for a little while. But when Savannah was DMing me memes, basically, I didn't know that meant I was getting up to speak. But I'm glad to be here. I'd like to say thank you for Battle Pups for speaking. You had a great elevator pitch. I liked your idea a lot, and I'm always very encouraging of projects that are builders also. But anyways, back to our project, Magnum AI. So I'll give you guys a quick rundown. This has been something that's been in the works for quite a while. Personally, I was working on it by myself for about 2 months, and then in total 4 months with the team once I tacked them on. It started off as a small idea. I was like, man, this is like the wild, wild west. Everybody's out here producing. Why can't I? It took a lot of time to get some wheels behind the project to help move it forward. Obviously, this is extremely competitive atmosphere, and I had no previous experience here. So I really had to put my nose to the grindstone to get the right people together. And, in the process, I've seen a lot of projects that I've invested in, that I've been a part of. And, I've looked at those for inspiration of how to prop up our project, right? And some of the biggest things to me, that I see from these OG projects that I've tried to incorporate into ours is the community and the art. Obviously, we have made a big shift towards this utility meta, but I find that having great community and having strong art can prop up a project, especially if you hit any road bumps along the way. If you have those right people there to support your project, then it helps smooth those over a little bit, especially with clear and honest communication. So we've put such a huge emphasis into building out a large community. We spent a lot of time sitting in Discord, welcoming each and every single person that's entered. We hold voice chats every single day, so that way we can make sure to have that verbal one-on-one interpersonal connection. I don't think I've seen any dev team that sits in a voice chat as long as I, hosting rap competitions, marbles, this and that, just so that way people could see one of the faces of the community. Another way we've taken upon it ourselves to make sure that we're interacting with the community a lot is our artist, which is he's a super talented guy. He'll sit there and do live one-on-one sessions. So he'll do them from start to finish. People can suggest ideas. They can ask him questions. So we're just doing all these different mediums of getting the community involved with us. It's more than just, the meta right now, right? Which is closed Discord, invite contest, get all the whales in here. We've kind of tried to steer away from that completely. We've used 0 cents on advertising because we wanted to make this as organic as possible. Let me tap into like our team, our utility, a little bit about that. We can talk more about the community, especially once you guys have some more questions for me. But when it comes to the team, we're a docs team. Or if you guys have popped into the project at all, you guys can see my face in the announcements. I'm very willing and open to share anything about myself. Same with the artist and even one of our developers. We are here all the time to make sure that all the questions are answered about our project. If people have critiques, if they have questions, whatever it might be, we make sure that, we can be open and honest, because I think right now we're at a point where there needs to be an open and honest dialogue with all the different rugs, cash grabs. I would say, especially over the past 2 weeks, it's been complete insanity. There's probably been more rugs and cash grabs than there have been actual legitimate projects with builders. So that's why we put such a huge emphasis on the community side, the transparency side of things, because it's something that the ecosystem desperately needs. Now, aside from putting a huge emphasis on, team and community, on the art side of things, our artist is spectacular. I'd say he's producing some of the best pixel art that we've seen on Solana or Ethereum. This guy is a god with the pixels, especially when it comes to the animations also. He has that crossover abilities where he can do both. I don't know if you guys have seen our animated trailer. We decided to make that trailer because we hadn't seen anything like it on both Solana and Ethereum. Generally, when you see a trailer, it's that copy and paste, like here's the title of our project, here's a little bit of information about us, come mint on this day, right? And so we decided to steer away from that altogether. We made like a short, fun series that's poking fun at all the large communities and DAOs that are always coming in expecting whitelist. Not to say we didn't give it to some of them or a lot of them, but we made sure to temper our expectations with that, So we basically made it as like a challenge in a little bit of a sense, a little bit of a promotional piece. Like, hey, we're poking fun at Tail Robotics, we're poking fun at Solana Monkey Business, or we're even poking fun at Thugbirds, all OGs in the space, but it was all good and fun. Just to show that hopefully this whitelist meta, we can try to steer away from it a lot. Just because a project's a blue chip holder doesn't mean that they're going to go on to be a good community holder. So with all that in mind, I'd like to round it out with, talk about our roadmap for just a moment. We've incorporated community into it. We've incorporated art into it, as I've touched on. And finally, with the utility side of it, obviously we've had this huge shift towards utility, which is extremely important. For our utility, initially it's more cosmetic. If you guys have seen how like the Pesky Penguins did, where they removed the mask, or Tail Robotics, where you could upgrade your NFT so that way it has newer attributes. We're kind of building on that, trying to take it to a higher level. We're going to have it so that you can upgrade our NFT, but have now animated attributes onto it. So that's still something we're hacking through, but we are really excited about the idea. We think it's going to be fun for the cosmetic side of things. For the more like utility-based things, we are going to be adding a web page to our website that is going to be solely based on alpha calls. I'm not going to go too far into it because I haven't really seen anyone doing it to the extent that we expect to do. But past that, we do have a developer that is solely focused on our staking contract. And our hope is that after we successfully complete our staking contract, that in the future we can go ahead and monetize that by doing that for other projects. And one reason we think we'll be able to do it well is because A, we're going to produce a solid staking contract, but B, there's a huge lack of trust when it comes to the development team. So we feel like the way we've handled our project, the transparency, will allow us to, hopefully be what some teams and projects will come to because of our level of transparency, our docs team, and several other factors. So I think that's kind of rounded it out. Our art, our community, Doc's team, and finally some of our utility. So I've gone on a bit of a tangent. I know it's supposed to be about 5 minutes, but I will let you guys cut back in. Sorry about that.
Thanks very much for sharing. Let's open it up to the judges.
Hey, I guess we're just gonna continue going. I'll start first again. First off, I wanted to say I do love the art. I do love the unique take on it. But for myself personally, like Reg was saying with Savannah, I'm definitely a heavy gamer, and I do love the utility aspect of it. And I wanted to kind of get your take on your staking and the utility of your staking, because obviously that's a really oversaturated market. So I wanted to kind of get a clearer picture of what you would be doing outside of the cosmetic changes. Because I love passive income just as much as the next person. But yeah, I would just like to see if you had any more clear vision on your staking and the utility of the stake tokens.
Yeah, of course. No problem with that. I could definitely go over that with you guys. I'll be honest with you guys. I'm not a huge fan of like the whole staking thing, but it's kind of like the meta right now. It's almost like an expectation with a lot of projects. So, I also, funnily enough, took a lot of inspiration from the famous Fox Federation in the sense that, they made their Foxy token, one Foxy equals one Foxy. So it's purely utility. And they also went the route of trying to be considerate of the legal ramifications of making a utility token. Because I'm located in the United States, and I do worry about, right now we're in this gray area, and what happens in months or a year from now if there becomes more rules, laws, and regulations where things like passive incomes, giveaways, all these different types of things become a problem, and all of a sudden you were one of the projects doing it. So I've taken upon myself to try to understand, staking and passive income to the level that we can avoid those issues down the line. So, with that in mind, like, we're not promising any type of passive income. We're not promising that people are going to earn X amount of money on our token. We want to try to do it as fully utility based. And honestly, down the line, if there's an option for us to switch away from it altogether and maybe just make it that, by holding our NFT, that will give you access to our utility. I think I'd be even happier with that. One of our plans too is, directly after we mint, we've already been in contact with the legal team. And that way we could go ahead and have them do, an entire write-up when it comes to, our website, intellectual property, staking, passive income, all that type of stuff, to make our stance on it extremely clear. But just to tap back to, talking about the actual utility for our project, like I said before a moment ago, we want to incorporate not only the cosmetic side of it, but also loop in, if we're having this alpha web page on our website, the only way to access that will be as an NFT holder or to burn a certain amount of token. And we have several different ways that we may want them to burn that token, whether it's for access to the web page itself, whether it's access to certain parts of the alpha, or if it's access to possibly like whitelist spots and whatnot. Because let's be honest, one of the biggest utilities that a lot of projects are using or utilizing right now is having their like alpha shot callers that are perusing through all the different projects, finding the right ones for, their team and their community. And that's something that our project especially be very well poised to do. We have quite a few adept flippers. We have quite a few adept people with large bags that have acquired them through finding the right alpha calls because they know the right people. So we'll be able to probably provide that at a lot higher level than a lot of projects will. And even from my own personal experience, I won't be as involved with that because I'll be busy focusing on other aspects of the project. But I do offer my time up to anyone who wants it, that if they want me to give them an assessment about a project, I'll look it up from top to bottom, give it like a 15-minute look over. And I'll tell them, hey, I think this is a great project. I think it's long-term. I'll tell them, hey, I think this is a cash grab. It's a rug, whatever I think it might be. So, in a sense, I find that as a utility in itself. We'll be providing a lot of value on that end while we're waiting for more of our actual utility for the project to develop. For the staking side of things, we do have a back-end developer who has been far into Solana. He's been building a little bit of dApps. He's been working really hard on the staking contract. And ultimately, we do want to monetize being able to create a staking contract, So either people will have to hold X amount of our NFTs, or they'll have to purchase X amount of our token to be able to have us create a staking contract for them.
Thank
Can
you.
I
I
go
appreciate
next?
this. Yep.
So, I mean, honestly, I'm not even gonna ask a question. I just want to say it's a straight mint for me, dog. You're a fucking killer. I think you said everything like perfectly. Clearly a builder. And yeah, man, my only question here is, can D guys get some whitelist spots? Can I get some fucking whitelist spots? This shit, yeah. I just like it for people in the audience of one. Like, I'll just give a little bit color why I like it so much. One, listen to this guy talk. He clearly just knows what the fuck he's doing. He's putting together a team. He's clearly not gonna rug because he's thought through so much of the short term, not just the long term, but also the short term. And that's something I look for in a lot of projects, because it's easier to think about the long term in this space than it is about the short term. So, yeah, dude, I just think you had everything kind of put together. I like the art a lot, and I think this is going to be a really great project. And I would love to mint this, and I would love for some D gods to get some whitelist spots. No cap, please. Thank you, sir.
Well, on that point right now, I'll tell you, actually, it's funny you said that. I think I've actually given D Gods the most whitelist spots of any community.
Let's fucking go.
Upon reflection, because I've taken it upon myself, to bring in the communities that I find have actual community, right? So, D Gods, Pesky Penguins, Turtles might get a bad rep sometimes, but, they might be one of the tightest communities out there. And for me and for my team, we value community more than we value like blue chip holders. I get whales reaching out to me all day long. Oh, hey man, I own a Boogle. Hey man, I'm like, I don't give a shit. Just because you're a whale doesn't mean that you're going to go on to be a long-term holder for our project. If you can show me why you're going to create value for our project, then I'll go ahead and possibly shoot you that whitelist spot. But otherwise, the person that has $200 in their Solana or in their wallet that comes onto our project, hangs out in our community, and actually likes our project, they can go on to be a better long-term holder and contributor than somebody that has, $1 million wallet. So, we like to take that into consideration a lot, and that's why it's been taking us a little while to fill out our whitelist spots, because, we have all the big DAOs and communities coming to us. Hey, we need 50, we need 100. I tried to delve them out pretty fairly. I do the communities from top to bottom, whether they're a blue chip or their floor is all the way to the bottom. It's not really a big deal to me. It's more so based on what I feel like they can bring to our community.
Awesome stuff.
I wanted to do the Mark Cuban lean forward and look over at Frank and kind of smile.
Yep. Yeah, man. This is awesome.
All right, so a couple quick questions for me. You mentioned transparency is key. Your site doesn't have much up on it right now. I was sent over like a deck that I'm looking through right now, but you mentioned you guys are doxed or not? Because on the site there's no information.
Right. So yeah, what website you just got sent, it's still being completed right now. It's not actually deployed live, but I wanted to show it to you guys anyways to see that we've made quite a bit of progress on it. Because ultimately we didn't want to just put up like a half complete website, but we are going to be adding little sections below our names that you can see there on the team, where at least for some of us, whomever wants to dox themselves, like you'll be able to find my LinkedIn, my Twitter. If you go onto my Discord, you can find my Twitch, you can find everything about me. People already know my full name. I do live cameos in the announcements for our project, so. I will hop on and say, hey, Magnum AI fam, what's going on today? It's your boy Blazin'. And, go over aspects of the project, places we've gone, things we've done. Our artist, who is just fucking killing it right now. I mean, this guy's he's like a 3-man team rolled up into one. He's doing the entire collection. He's doing all the animations. He did the entire trailer. And he himself is also doxed. He's in Siberia. Sorry, it's our joke, but he's actually in Serbia, and he's he comes from a professional background. He's done he's done a lot of animation and illustration for McDonald's, Pepsi, a few other things for several years. On the opposite side of it, he's worked for actual game companies producing pixel art, different things like that. So, his background and experience is immense, and he's just been such a great asset to this project. And honestly, when I found him, I was like, man, this guy's a diamond in the rough. I found him on Reddit, of all places. I was just perusing through, and I saw this crazy trailer that had like 3 3 or 4 likes on it. I'm like, what is this? Like, how is nobody talking to this guy? And so, we ended up linking up, and, we have this great friendship now. And I've taken it upon myself that I think he's so great, and like the value he brings is amazing, that I've been trying to pump him up. I've been trying to get him famous. I'm like, this guy deserves all the recognition he can get, So yeah, from the artist side of things, it's great. And since I'm already talking about the team a little bit, so there's myself. I'm like the community lead, advertising marketing guy. My background in real life is I do have a degree in advertising. I used to be a Twitch streamer. I played video games professionally. Outside of playing video games, I've been a leasing specialist, a water safety specialist. So I have a pretty big professional background. And then just jumping over real quick to like the back end guys. So we have 2 developers. We have a full stack website developer. He's amazing. He's worked in both the corporate world and freelance. And he's dabbled on the blockchain. He's done some work on Ethereum. He's done some work on Harmony One. Currently, he's actually working on a marketplace on Harmony One in tandem with our project. So he does have quite a bit of experience. And then our back-end dev, this guy's a savant. He's moving at Mach speed by himself on all the Solana stuff. But at the end of the day, he is only one person. And so our goal is to eventually extend out the team further once we have, opened up the community, we've minted out, we want to bring on more firepower, basically.
All right, 2 more quick questions. I know we're running out of time here. I've got a lot
Sure.
more I want to ask you, but I know we just don't have the time for it on the show here. One thing, maybe more of a comment and then a question. You
Sure.
mentioned the staking piece. One thing that stuck out to me about that comment about the staking, what you're building, what you're putting together, helping others do it, that you're not a huge fan of it. So I just found it interesting that that's like a key piece to the utility, to the roadmap, and you just are not a fan of even the staking itself. So I don't know if I would just stop saying that and not use that comment. But if you're going to do it and kill it. Or if you're kind of halfway getting into it, don't do it at all. Don't
Just because
waste time.
Sure. No, 100%. Just because I don't personally like the staking doesn't mean that it won't still go on to be a centerpiece of utility for the ecosystem, right?
Okay,
So
gotcha.
just my personal feelings aside, I can look at it from a business perspective, and if it's something that we feel like we can use for our project, which we do, there's no problem with us trying to have it be done in a proper way for other projects also.
And by the way,
And
I
the
can
other-
speak a little bit
Go
on
ahead,
the
Frank.
staking thing. I think it'll help. I felt the exact same way, brother, like about when we were kind of first thinking about how we're going to do Dust. The biggest thing is, yeah, it's just never advertising it as passive income. It's not royalties because it'll be creating like new tokens. The way I
Right.
always say it is Dust is like an arcade token, basically, that you're earning every day. And people are free on a decentralized platform to exchange it for, whatever they want to. But CyberKongs is like a really big project on ETH, and I think they've figured out a big amount of a big part of this legal framework. Bored Ape is going to launch a token pretty soon, so it looks
Right.
like finally so there's going to be some regulatory clearance. But I relate and empathize on why that's kind of like a scary thing because there's so much unknown. But it seems if you do it in good faith and you don't market it in a way that's going to like trick investors into thinking it's something that it's not, it looks like you're mostly covered. But then what the fuck do any of us know? But that's the top of the
Yeah.
level information, the most up to date information we have right now.
Yeah, I've already actually reached out. Well, I reached out to Famous Fox Federation, and they referred me to their lawyers that helped them set up, for when it comes to the whole utility and staking. So I've already had a conversation with their lawyers, and then I did actually try to reach out to the CyberKongs initially because they were my initial inspiration with everything. Because they've obviously done things correctly from top to bottom, and I don't know if you guys saw, we tried to do a huge push to bring the CyberKongs from Ethereum over to our project. We made them a 101. We made them a song. We made a meme. We got a Twitter post that had 600 plus retweets on it. We're like, maybe we could just get an unofficial nod from them or something. Unfortunately, no. But we've really tried to do a lot of cross chain advertising and marketing and just bringing them together. We actually just whitelisted a bunch of people from Neo Tokyo, CyberKongs, and a few other Ethereum projects because they have been highly interested in it. And, we have no problem about Ethereum the way sometimes, people have issues with each other.
Hey, last question for you, and that was good. Is, who is your ideal investor? And you mentioned, I want a guy with $200 that buys in as part of the community, but give me a little bit more. the people that are in your community currently, other than like being part of the community and in their messaging and, hey, I love this. This is great. Who is like, how do you define the investor you're looking for?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, for me, with my background, I'm really like my focus is solely on, building up a community that is there because they want to be there. They want to help us build. We're really interested in having builders in our community, people that have backgrounds in different aspects of our project that can help move it forward, whether that's the development side of things, whether that's the community side of things, being an analyst, moderator, whatever. I already have like probably, most projects probably play a little bit closer to the vest. They have, their dev team, a few mods, and that's it. We have, our entire team, the core team. We have quite a few community leads. We have about like 9 trial mods. And so we're really, really trying to make that push to involve people in our project. We also even created a section on our webpage where you can go to. It's called Work With Us. And you can basically put in some information about why you're interested in working with us. And actually, we're just looking for people that are interested for the project as the project, and they're not just looking to come make $1.
Man, I'm loving what I'm hearing. So, if I'm not mistaken, all 3 of our judges is mint for this one, for Magnum.
Absolutely. I love a project that
100%.
cares about the community. The community is the most important aspect of NFTs. So 100% buy for me.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, it's simplistic, right? I think the art is lit. You've got a good face guy, if you will. So that goes a long way. Someone with vision. Going back to the battle pups for a second, there's just a lot of awesome stuff happening there, but a lot of questions like, will they deliver with the things that they were doing, which is kind of why I just wanted to hold back. But with Magnum, I think it's a little more of a simplistic route that you're taking, plus the art, plus the community, the passion. I will be minting.
Yeah, the passion for too. The passion, you can feel it. It's real and genuine. So I sympathize with you there.
I won't be
One thing
minting. I'll be FOMOing secondary.
Let's go, baby.
bullish.
Let's go.
Yo, it looks like we already gave out the whitelist spots with the D gods. Can I get one, sir?
I love how Frank's just like shamelessly harassing you for whitelist spots.
I have to put the pressure on. I had to do it right
man.
now.
Shameless.
I had to
Reminds
do
me
it.
like
I had
the
to
Dave
do it.
Chappelle thing where he's like scratching himself. He's like, "You got any of those whitelists?"
Well, because I highly appreciate you guys allowing me the chance to come on here and speak and talk about the project a little bit. Of course, that is no problem. We can hook up the boy Frank. Let's get him on the whitelist. Let's go.
Let's go.
Oh man, this is amazing. And be sure to include Savannah as well as part of that whitelist. But really appreciate all of you for coming on. I love the energy and what you said about declining larger DAOs and influencers as well. I think in the Savannah whitelist, we did piss off a lot of DAOs. Just because you're a blue chip project doesn't mean that you deserve to mint. What we're actually looking for is genuine people at the end of the day. But thank you so much. Let's actually segue into our last one. I know we're running a bit over time. I promise that next week we'll be more organized with time. But let's open up the floor for Amoeba Friends. And this is our last project for today.
Awesome. Can you guys hear me?
Loud and clear.
Awesome. Thank
Beautiful.
you so much for bringing me up here. And for Becca Soul for inviting me to speak. It's always great to join these Twitter spaces. I think one of the things that we're doing is very similar to Battle Pups in terms of animation, so I really like that project as well. And of course, the pixel animation that Magnum is doing looks awesome. So I'm really excited about both of those. But to tell you about us, we're Amoeba Friends. We're a collection that's going to teach kids crypto through fun animated adventures. I think the crypto space is very complicated, but we think through great storytelling and great characters, we could do it in a fun animated way. So, for me, my background is in storytelling, animation. I've animated on television shows. I've pitched cartoons to Nickelodeon, Frederator, Cartoon Network, among a bunch of others, and I've also animated on TV shows. So for me, storytelling is in my blood. That's sort of how I think about things, and it's sort of how my view of the world is shaped. So whether it's an NFT, whether it's whatever the project is, I'm always thinking about like what are the characters What is the story that we're telling, and how can people get excited about that? You may have seen some of our little Twitter episodes on Twitter called Live from the Microverse, where we talk about things that are happening in Solana. We've our recent episode was Balloonsville drama, and all the crazy things that were happening there was pretty good topic, especially given that the guy who was behind that Twitter account was making a lot of really crazy comments. But I think it kind of shows sort of what our abilities are in terms of animation, in terms of the quality of animation, our storytelling, our comedy, and each of the episodes that we put out every week gets thousands and thousands of views on Twitter, which is just really unbelievable. So it's really exciting to see that and to see the community kind of get behind that. And I think one of the things that we want to show is, even before we minted, what can we do and how can we execute? And I think that's sort of a good example of that. But to go back to the NFT collection, each of the NFTs comes with a randomly generated name. Again, sort of harkening back to my storytelling roots. Each one comes with a character, who their personality is, their career aspirations, their favorite food, who their best amoeba friend is. So when you get the NFT, it's not just the NFT, but you get to learn about who they are. And one of the things that's really exciting is because each one has a best friend in it, you can then try and collect and get your two best friends in the same wallet, which we have plans for what we will do there in the future. But when you mint two of the NFTs, you'll get a huggable plush toy for free. So you may have seen that we've been doing these plush toys as part of our mint. And for me, it's really around plush toys are a physical version of the NFT. We'll have like main characters for that. But so far we've generated about 230 plush toys that are going to be sent out for free. So we're really excited about that. And with our mission of onboarding the next generation into crypto, one of the things that we did with our mint was we integrated a company called Crossmint. And so you can actually mint one of our NFTs with a credit card, no wallet setup, no fees, nothing. And so we think by doing so, it'll help people get into the space really easily and onboard people into Solana more than we've seen before. I've tried to explain how to do it. You set up Coinbase, you transfer that to Phantom. And so with Crossmint, it's really easy. You just put in your credit card. You don't have to set it up. You just type it in. You connect your Google account or Discord, and then boom, you have an NFT. And we really think that's sort of technologies like that will really help people kind of onboard. And then in terms of the storytelling, one of the things that is typical in animation and within that animation industry is, they work on things for about a year and a half, then they show the world, and then they see, are people excited about it? What we want to do is we want to create a decentralized form of storytelling where each of the NFT holders gets to actually vote on what happens in the story. So what happens in the episode and what happens in each season. And so by bringing the community into that, by bringing them into the world of Amoeba Friends, they sort of become invested in like, hey, my decision could actually be a part of what shapes the lore and the story of these characters. And so that's sort of an idea that I have around bringing this sort of decentralized world into more of the traditional space. And so, we've done the plush toys. We have the Twitter episodes that we've been doing. We have the NFT collection. Of course, the kids show is what we're really building for the long term of the project. And if you can sort of see all these different pieces together, build a brand. So we want to build really what is the next SpongeBob, what is the next Mickey Mouse. And so we think doing all of these different concepts really sort of builds that world. So whether someone discovers us through a plush toy and was like, what is that? Or they discover us through an NFT and then are like, oh, look, they have plush toys. Or they discover our Twitter episodes and then they're like, oh, wow, look, there's the NFT collection and toys. Or if they discover our kids show and like, oh, I could get plush toys. And so it's really about building that whole entire universe of our characters and of our storytelling. And so before even Mint started, we demonstrated all of our abilities. So we had the Twitter show, we have our plush toys, and then now that we've opened Mint and we're still minting, we've sort of shown that our abilities to continue to do that are still there. So we're working on a demo for the kids show and what that trailer would look like, hiring voice actors and getting animation together. We're working on improving our animations for the Live from the Microverse episodes that are on Twitter. And so putting all of these pieces together, really try and build that brand. One of the things that I've also done separately from the project is I bought the domain myfirstnft.com. And what I'm going to be doing with that is really how do we onboard people into the space? And of course, ending with, you would get an Amoeba friend towards the end of learning about what is an NFT, what is Solana, and all that kind of stuff. So that's sort of what we're doing right now. A little bit about the project, about my background, and I look forward to any questions you guys have.
Hey, I'm ready to kick it off. After hearing that elevator pitch, I don't have any kids yet, but you're gonna make me want to mint in real life so I can go and get one of these plush dolls for my kid. I think your project is absolutely incredible. I think it's going to be long term game changing in the space, and I think you're going to really help innovate and change cryptocurrency because we're really changing pretty quickly and onboarding kids and adults at the same time, because they're going to be sitting with their kids, setting up all of the crypto and the NFTs and stuff. I think your project is absolutely incredible. So hats off to you guys and hats off to everything you've done so far. My question to you is, um, are you guys going to have specific people's NFTs in your shows?
Yeah, absolutely. First off, thank you for those remarks. That's really great to hear.
Absolutely.
But yes, so what we're going to be doing is from the mint, we're going to be choosing amoebas to actually be featured in the show. And so the idea behind that is like imagine if Star Wars started as an NFT and you minted Luke Skywalker. Imagine what the value of that could be if you owned that NFT. And so we're sort of thinking the same thing. So imagine if you minted SpongeBob. Imagine if you minted Luke Skywalker. But again, there's thousands of NFTs. In our collection, there's 1,700. So maybe not everyone's going to mint that. But what happens if you mint, like in SpongeBob, for example, there's always that meme of that guy in the background who's yelling, my leg, right? So imagine you minted that guy. Or maybe you minted a drone who crashes, and that's a really iconic scene from Star Wars, or something that's sort of on that line of thinking. Or maybe you mint a character that's blue, and because of that, the blue characters that are showing up in a blue episode, now that's more valuable. And so we think by integrating that, there's additional components that we can add to make it really compelling to not just want to be a part of the story and produce and help write the story with us, but also to watch and take part in sharing the stories.
Yeah, no, that's incredible. Thank you so much for that. I'm super bullish on you guys. And right after this, I'm going to go try to mint in real life. So thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, man. First of all, I'll just say fucking incredible content. I loved the Bloomsville thing you made. Thank you for the shout out. I will just give full disclosure. I have already minted 2, so I'm excited for that. Excited to get the plush. But before I officially call it a mint for this call, what I think everyone in the room is probably wondering is, okay, it sounds like we're going to, give you the soul so you can go. You basically raise funds to go do a lot of this really cool stuff that you guys are doing, and it's very clear your team is talented. Love the fact you guys have put stuff out before the mint. But tell me, as a buyer of the NFT, where do you see the value accruing? Where do you see what is the NFT part of this equation?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, great question. Yeah, so in terms of the value, one of the things that we're continuing to work on is how do we increase value for our holders. So we initially had it where it was you mint 3 NFTs to get 1 plush. Now we've changed it to 2, but if you've already minted 3, you'll get 2 plushes. So one of the things that we've thought about is like how do we continue to add value? I think a lot of projects initially, if they don't immediately sell out their mint, they start cutting the price and they start cutting the supply. But we sort of have the opposite approach, which is instead of doing that, add more value to the holders. So one of the things that we're working on is we're actually starting to look into staking. And what we can do there is through staking, you can purchase plushies through the value of that token. And additional ways that we might be able to have staking as part of the show is that you can actually design your own amoeba and then get that amoeba featured in the show based on how long you've staked your NFT. So staking one aspect of it. Of course, the aspect that you will be a part of the Amoeba Friends DAO, so that gives you exclusive access. We're going to be holding events as well, so it's sort of like a little club in terms of behind the scenes of animation, which is typically not something that the animation industry does. So we think by allowing people behind the curtain of animation, the industry, doing live events, hosting screenings of the Amoeba Friends shows, and then taking votes on that only exclusive to the holders. We think that adds additional value, as well as, of course, we're very bullish on the fact that we think the show can be very successful. So through that, if you own a certain amoeba and it's featured in the show, or it has certain traits that are rare, that it would increase value as well. So we're thinking about many different aspects of how we can do that, opposed to thinking about cutting price or cutting supply or doing anything that would sort of negatively affect. It's just for us is how do we then continue to increase and add value staking being one of them, but we're totally open to other ideas for how we can make each NFT specifically valuable, right? Because I think what you're sort of getting on is, there's the TV show, there's the plushies, but how do the NFT add value? And I think it's really about the whole world sort of working together. Without the plushies, without the Twitter episodes, the NFT sort of is by itself, I would say, not as valuable. So I think really kind of expanding and growing there. I think, whether it's NFT, whether it's a video game, again, it really comes back to really great storytelling, really great characters. And so whatever we do a part of Amoeba Friends, that's going to be really driving the vision for that. I think the NFT is a really great community to sort of kickstart it all.
So I'll give a little bit of feedback, and then I think Moon Roving has some questions. But the way I think about a lot of new NFT projects is like isolating down what is your superpower, and you don't even have to say it yourself. I'll tell you, you guys make incredible content, top 5% NFT like project content, like just from the videos I've seen you already make. And if that's your superpower, I would say like, how do you spin that to create value in your NFTs using your superpowers? And one way I would, like, for example, just off the top of my head, it's like if I own 15 Amoeba, Amoeba friends. If I own 15 Amoeba friends, can I choose what the next episode is going to be about? Like, how can I like leverage the fact that I own more or buy more or create more value for you and your team? How can I leverage that fact to get and extract value from what you guys do really, really well? Is something I would consider, and it could make it interesting, off the gate with Mint. Obviously, staking is good. I think everyone in the stage has said like it is becoming a little bit of a played out meta, but it does create, the thing with Solana, I'll say for everyone in the audience, by the way, about staking, that the reason why a lot of projects do staking is because on Solana, it's literally frictionless to go list your NFT for sale. So a lot of people just figure, why the fuck not list my NFT for sale? Because it's basically costs $0 to do. And that becomes like one of the main utilities for projects that don't have some kind of staking or lockup, which puts, project creators in a tough position. So I have empathy on both sides here. But for the mint itself, considering you guys are now live minting, I would say trying to figure out some kind of really banger standout utility immediately that is related to owning a lot of the Amoeba friends that leverages your guys' superpowers. That would be my main feedback. I'm there.
Yeah, great feedback. I appreciate it.
Am I going to mint or not? I think I'm on hold for you guys, to be honest. And I do like what you're doing, onboarding people. I think it's unique as far as like the focus on children and bringing them into the loop when it comes to NFTs. My big question, I may just mint anyway because I do like what you guys are doing, but what I really want to have you guys get to is what Frank just mentioned is, what is the long-term investment play here? And, like you look at Paw Patrol, right? Everyone's familiar with Paw Patrol, focuses on kids. They do like 1.6 billion in revenue a year, right? So if you're able to blow up, I'd be curious as to if I'm the NFT holder, I always go back to royalties. I know there's a big question mark on that whole space and whether that can even be done or not. But like I would be totally pumped up and excited to mint as many as I can if I thought, okay, I've got ownership in this company, right? But as it stands right now,
Yep.
it's kind of like you got a pool stick hitting a pool stick to hit the ball into the hole. It's a little bit of a gray area. So if you can kind of tighten up that story, like Frank mentioned, then I think you'd go, you change the game you'd sell out immediately, pretty much. But I think that's where I'm at. Is I'm kind of on hold, but I may mint anyway. I'd love to have I've got kids, so get one of those dolls and hoist it up around the house, be the hero for a day.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, these are great questions, and I definitely think something that we're considering. In terms of royalties, I think we've talked about it a little bit. I've consulted with attorneys about it. We specifically cannot give royalties directly, but what we could do is a token through staking, which there's less legal gray area about. So there's something that we can do there. In terms of something like Paw Patrol, I think in terms of what I'm thinking about is the same thing. I think something like 70 to 80% of revenue that Paw Patrol gets is actually from merchandise and not from the show. So I think a lot of times people are asking me like, oh, well, will I get revenue from the show? And to be honest, TV shows actually don't make that much money. It's really in the merchandise and all the other things. So I think that's one of the reasons that we're starting to look at staking, is because there will be a way for us to actually distribute revenue in that form rather than directly to the NFT holders directly. So yeah, I mean, I think that's sort of how we think about it, is really big brand and all the different aspects that contributed. So whether it's the NFT, I think that really gets you in the door, and it is sort of helping build as part of the initial vision of getting Amoeba Friends off the ground. But I think, these ideas I think are really, really helpful for us to think about how do we continue to add value, because that's really what we care about, is how do we continue to add value as we grow, to get people more excited about the project. And I think the plush toys is a really great way to get people aware of it, showing it what is this. And I think for us, the big audience is around like parents. I think we've noticed a lot of people who are in our Discord and who are really excited about the project are parents, because one, they get plush toys for their kids. They help teach them about NFTs and what that means. And I think it's really a long tail of building the Amoeba Friends brand, not just about the little bit of revenue that we might get from just the TV show, or we might just get from other areas, but really all of that combined to build the holistic brand.
And if you can offer up a DGOD line at some point, I think it'd be pretty sweet.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Yeah, I mean, I've been talking with a lot of people who have reached out to me, because it seems like the plush toy has actually been a really big reason a lot of people have been minting, and so it's really exciting that people are excited about that. And so I'm working with some other artists who have NFTs who are looking to get their things made into plush toys as well. So I'm totally open to the conversation. I think for me, I love building these kinds of things and sort of combining the physical with the digital. Each of the Amoeba Friends plush toys will have a QR code that actually links to the blockchain of that amoeba. So I think there's some really exciting physical and digital combinations that we can do.
Awesome stuff. Any more remarks or comments from the judges before we wrap it up?
Yeah, just real quick, kind of just building on what Frank and Moonroving were saying here. So if you hold additional amoebas, would you be able to maybe create like your own that could be potentially in the show or on the blockchain?
Yeah, I mean, I would totally be open to that. I think one of the things to do in terms of rewarding holders that have a large number of them, I think that's totally something I'd be open to. We're slowly introducing what our rarities for each of the different amoeba are, but I'm open to that. I think that's a great idea.
Yeah, I think it could be crucial. Kids love to draw, kids love interactive stuff. So I think that's definitely an avenue you guys could target.
Yeah, we
I
actually
just
had
wanted
one
to.
of. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, sorry. I'm speaking totally out of turn because I'm not up here as a judge. It's just I work in partnerships with Savannah, but I just hearing what you guys are talking about just really made me want to kind of jump in because I've seen a couple of these projects that are focused on kind of this use case of NFTs that is not yet mainstream, but we all see the value in, and it's just not the meta, but we all want it to succeed, And so, I mean, some of the things I've seen in a couple other projects that they've been kind of doing is in one, it's an animated project, and they're offering up opportunities to audition for parts for roles, doing workshops, giving kind of an inside look into the back end, and so thinking if you're targeting kids and parents, like being able to offer that kind of service and this like educational opportunity to really get like an inside look and a behind the scenes, like I think could be really really interesting opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely. There's actually someone from our community who's asking if we'd be open for people to audition for voice acting roles in our show, and the answer is yes. I think for us, bringing that community and really bringing people behind the curtain of the production of animation and storytelling for me is really exciting. When I was a kid, I always loved watching the behind the scenes of Nickelodeon and the animators in the studio, and so I think bringing people in would be great. If anyone has a demo reel and they're interested in voicing an amoeba friend, like let me know, like hit me up.
I've got a demo. It's called The Morning Mint Show, and you need a co-host. Let me know.
Hell yeah.
I'll just roll up in my DGON. Let's do it.
Oh, amazing, amazing. And this is the point that we do events like this. And I really wish for Amoeba friends that you were more in line with the current meta as well, because you are the meta that we need, just not what people want right now, right? And it gets me so excited. Like just behind the scenes here, I've been fist bumping every time you said something that aligned with our ethos on Savannah. So we've got Saigo here, who's head of partnerships. There has to be a way where we can get some Amoeba friends represented on Savannah in some shape or form.
Yeah, let's
Um,
do it.
yeah, yeah. With that being said, look, thank you so much for everybody who's entered the space right now. Moon Roving, it won't be possible without you. You're an awesome guy all around. I recommend everyone follow you. Head on to your show as well. You do 2 shows a week and now a third one with us, and you're doing this as a community service. And we really love that fact about you, that you're just so passionate in everything that you do. Love the energy that you bring. Franks, thank you so much for coming on. For those of you who are not builders, it is a very tough proposition to even get 10 minutes of a builder's time. But just the fact that you've come on to talk to early stage projects and to really ask the tough questions that nobody is willing to ask in this space is met respect. Also, show won't be possible without Solana Storm. I really love working with your team, and I think Solana Storm will be a really good contender in the space moving forward. Big shout out to Becca and Solstice as well. And I guess we'll wrap it up from here. We really went over time this round, but next week onwards, we're going to be having this within the Savannah platform, outside the DGods building, and hopefully we get to fist bump one another in Pixelverse. And thank you everyone for coming. For those who want to stay and chill out, I'll still be hanging out here for the next 10-15 minutes. Feel free to use this as networking opportunity. For members of the audience, be sure to give everyone here a follow. Give Savannah a follow as well if you want to find out more about what we're building. Be sure to also do your own research. Like I said before, our judges here have different investment profiles and they come from different backgrounds as well. Just because they might be skipping on something, doesn't mean you should skip on something. Don't follow blind advice. Learn to think for yourself and develop a good investment framework and thesis for projects that you are looking for. And with that, judges, if you have anything else to say before you head off, I really hope to do this again on a weekly basis. And we really want to bring quality projects onto the space. Not many projects are willing to do this because, you know, when you're put under the spotlight, being asked the really difficult questions, as a founder, it can be really nerve-wracking. And not many projects are transparent enough to do this. And met respect for everyone who came on. And judges, I'll leave it to you, and we'll leave the space open for a while.
I'll just say thanks for having us, guys. And I know it's not easy, so grateful to have the project come up here and have a deep dive conversation. And I know some questions were harsher than others, but it was all in good faith. And just keep building. Thanks for all that you guys do. And thanks for the time today. And have a good weekend, and God bless.
Hey, yeah, just wanted to chime in here, Savannah. I thought this was absolutely incredible, and having 3 different judges with so many different backgrounds, everyone really chimed in with some great questions and some great feedback. But like you said, I think having different backgrounds really makes this space like really, really important and very eye-opening to a lot of others. You know, I've heard some great things everyone had to say, so I was just really grateful to be able to be a part of this. And I think what we're trying to do here is really going to be inspiring on Solana. And I think we could really make some game changing moves with this. And I think it's going to be really beneficial to the projects that do come on here because the tough questions, you know, that they get hit with, they're not easy to answer, but hopefully they can go and do their homework and really make their roadmaps more clear and have either better utilities for their projects, better art, things like that. You know, I think it's a really good learning lesson for everyone here. So hats off to you guys for putting this together. I'm just truly grateful to be here.
And for Amoeba friends and Battle Pops, if you're still here, feel free to nominate another cool builder, another cool project that you want to see in the space. For some of the other projects, I know you submitted, you put your hands up to come up to speak. I'm sorry we couldn't fit everyone here. Feel free to look on our Twitter, Becca's Twitter as well. There's forms there that you can fill up, and hopefully we get to invite you on for next week. For members of the audience, if you love what you hear today, be sure to tag Amoeba friends or Battle Pops or even Magnum AI. Tell them what you love about them. Tell them what you actually think. Don't forget to add Savannah DAO to the mix and just tell the whole world that Shark Tank on Savannah DAO is the place to be if you want to talk and get down into the nitty-gritty and find out more about what builders think and what some of our judges think as well. With that, I'll wrap this up. Thank you, everyone, for coming, and we hope to see you again next week, same time, different place outside the DeGods building. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you.